So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. I think I'm supposed for some time to answer the question, how can we best support student success on a campus like the UWT? So when first I got the email or I got the question, I read it the wrong way. I read, how can students succeed on a campus like the UW Tacoma? This is how I read the question initially. So I said, okay, if they want to succeed, let them study. What we can do, they want to succeed, they need to study. But then I said, no, this is not the question. There was another question. The question says, how can we support the students succeed? So this is regarding is what we can do for them. I said, okay, if this is the case, it is gonna be a completely different answer. It is not gonna, they are gonna study to succeed. We are gonna let them know that they need to study to succeed. Make sense? What's the problem? I can read it in your face. You didn't like my answer. Okay, but again, so this is the answer that I have right now. And because Colleen gave me 20 minutes to present, I think I have to keep you entertained for the coming 20 minutes. So I'm going to be telling stories because this is the, and again, because I can read it in your face. You didn't like my answer. So during the 20 minutes, I'll try to fix my answer before you throw me out of the window. Really, you are coming here to let us, if they want to succeed, let them study? Okay. So the story I'm going to tell, it's going to be the story about that man, and he's a real man. His name is Sethu. Why I'm choosing the story of Sethu? As I said, because I need to keep entertaining you for 20 minutes, and I need to think of a better answer as we go. So actually, Sethu, he was my manager at some point in time. So I used to report to Sethu for some time. As my manager, he was supposed to make me successful. That was part of his duties. And I'm not sure how successful he was in making me successful. This is what we are gonna figure out. So let me tell you the story from the beginning, how I met Sethu. But let me start the story from the beginning. I was born in 2001. This is when I, what's the problem? Yeah, 2001, yeah. Don't try to do the math. Usually we consider when you are born, whenever you start your grad school, whenever you go for your, this is when you are professionally, technically born. Then, after some time of being born, when I was kind of a toddler, I joined industry for some time. I started my career by going to Microsoft Research. It was the time when it was the wave of data stream system, real-time database. The idea is you have historical database, but data streams means data is evolving at high speed at real time. You want to do two things. Take a decision as of now, as fast as you can, and predict the future. I spent a few months at Microsoft Research developing a prototype. Someone liked it. They said, your prototype is good. Why don't you come and make a product out of it? Transition from the research side of Microsoft to the development side. I thought it was prestigious to make sure my research is not gonna remain on the shelf, but it is gonna hit the market. I thought 1 year in the product side, I am gonna incubate my research, then get back to academia, what I love. It took me almost a decade to do this. Again, you ship one version, second version, customer requirements. But as I was doing this, Sethu was my manager for some point in time. While I was in industry, I said, no, I love research, I love students. I want to make the world a better place. At Microsoft, I make products, I make money. But over here, I can make the world a better place. I can have influence on students. So starting from 2010, I was still a full-timer at Microsoft. I used to come teach at the UW. That was the fun part of my life, coming, making sure that I am not the only one who is or may be successful, but I want to make a bunch of other students successful. Till at some point in time, I said, no, I want to get all the fun. So 2014, I joined the UW Tacoma as a full-time. I love what I'm doing, and I hope this continues till, what is RIP? What is RIP? No, don't say it. It is research in progress. No, it is not the other one that you may think of. RIP means research in progress, and it is gonna be research in progress. Now, this is kind of the story where I met Sethu somewhere in my life, but let's talk more about Sethu. If you mention Sethu at that time, everyone would say, life is good. That was his attitude. He was optimistic. You would see me and Sethu going everywhere, delivering talks, selling products, getting whatever. So, but there is another thing that I want to mention regarding Sethu. Sethu, every day in the morning, he runs for 5 miles. And he says, if I am to run 5 miles, this is how much time it takes me to run 5 miles. Every 2 or 3 months, he needs to increase the distance and reduce the time it takes him to run. This is how he says, I need to improve. This is how he defines success. And he kept improving over time. But you can imagine, at some point in time, you are gonna saturate. You cannot keep improving forever. Yes or no? Looks like it is yes, probably for you and me, but not for Sethu. Sethu says, if I'm not improving, then I failed. And he decided, because I'm no longer able to improve in running, I am gonna do swimming. And he kept doing swimming for some time. Then, after a few months, he said, I miss running. So he went back and tried to run. The surprise was what? He did a better job in running. He was able to break his own record in running. And he said, it looks like I had to do a lot of swimming to improve my own record in running. Because when I was running, yes, my feet is strong, but my shoulders are weak. This is what causes me fatigue, and I stop running. So whenever I was swimming, I made my arms stronger, so the entire body was strong, so I was able to run for longer distances in less time. Now, let's kind of think, what are the problems of Sethu? Number one, he was not aware that his problem is somewhere else other than his feet. Yes, you want to run, you need your feet, but you are one body. No one pointed out the problem to him. He was missing piece of data. That was problem number one. Problem number two, he was not aware that he is one body. You cannot have strong arms and weak legs, or strong legs and weak arms. It has to be one body. He was not aware of this problem. We are helping Sethu to figure his problems. The other one, he had some, I don't know, should we call it some kind of mental problems? Because he said, I am gonna give up. Would we classify this under the mental health? He was kind of disappointed. He said, okay, I am gonna give up on running. No one told him, you are one of the best runners. That was his third problem. Now, let's get rid of Sethu, replace Sethu by our UWT students. And let's see, do we have similar problems over here? And how are we able to solve them? I would say one of the first problems, which is unawareness of our own problems. This is where it comes. This is where I believe we are not managing our data the proper way. This logo is the logo for the, if you can read it, I know it's challenging, Center for Data Science. This is something I have been running for some time. This is where I love to play with the data. We can really tell Sethu, we can tell the students where are the problems using some data science. And we are going to elaborate on this in a little bit. No, go backward. We are not there yet. The second one, we are one body. We are really one body. Diversity, inclusion. How can we collaborate all together? And for this picture, I have two notions I want to mention. I'm going to mention the two of them, but dive deeper in a specific one of them. The last one. There is a student over here who is falling over the cliff. There has to be a lot of effort to make sure we lift him up. Some people need to pull him up. Some people need to keep pushing. All of them, they need to work together to make sure that we are not giving up on our UWT students. So, instead of keep going at the abstract level, I'm just gonna briefly mention what we can do in each one of them. Then, based on your question, we can dive deeper in any one of them upon request. The first one is the data science. What are the questions that data science can answer? I know someone like me who has been working for the past many years in prediction can tell you there is no way to predict in 2050. It doesn't make sense. But I need to put it in the slide to tell you that we can do prediction. What is going to happen in the future? So we want to be prepared ahead of time. Here is another interesting question. And this is just an example. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you some deeper insight how our data can be valuable. What is the relationship between the student grades and how many times he visits our student Y? Because we know that if the student is stressed, he may not be going over there. And it is pattern analysis. They are going, they dropped. Is it midterm time? Is there any indication? If the student is happy, is he gonna drop? What are the activities the students are doing? We need to collect a lot of data. So we wanna take action before we lose the student. This can help us do a better job. Keep our student before we lose them. Here is another question. Can you guess which student needs help? But can you do this beforehand? I know that the instructor can report, I have a student struggling in my class. But by the time the instructor is reporting the student needs help, this is exactly the same time when the student is dropping out of the UWT. If we are able, using our data, to predict who are the students we can lose, we can do a better job. Can we do some analysis? How students enroll in different classes? If this instructor offers this class in this quarter, how enrollments is gonna be? And what is gonna be the success rate? What is the relationship between the grades of the same course across different quarters? And why? This is one area where I believe we should be able to do better job. This is in terms of managing the data to help students be more successful. The other thing is, whenever I'm saying we are one body, you cannot keep the arms strong and then the feet weaker. There are two definitions. I'm going to mention one quickly. Then I'm going to elaborate more on the other one. Just to make sure I'm smoothing the transition between data science and making sure we are one body. Imagine that I have access to the library data. Imagine. And I know that the students in this major are checking out books that are related to another major. Wouldn't I be successful if I bring the two directors or dean together and say, cannot we do something in collaboration? We have been trying to do this probably with urban studies, and then for forever, we will make it happen one time. But again, we as one body, can we make sure that we offer degrees that are shared across programs that deliver more value for students? This is one dimension from the academic side. There is another dimension, and this is where I want to go a little bit deeper to make sure that we are inclusive to all our students. And I believe the gate to get closer to our student is through student clubs. Make sure that they are having fun. They are enjoying their academic life. Probably I have a bunch of pictures over here. You would see, I don't know, you can win the challenge if you can spot me where I am in the field. Yeah, after a few minutes, whenever they figured out I'm useless in playing soccer, they put me after the goal, yeah, behind the goal. This is where my position is. But actually, this has to do with something specific. From my experience, this is what I have done over here in terms of experience working with student clubs. I worked with the students to establish the National Society of Black Engineers. This is where students can, it's kind of professional community. It is gonna help them develop professionally. It is focusing on underrepresented minority. We managed to establish that chapter. Even I managed to get one of our junior faculty to make sure that I am not the only one doing everything. I am not the only leader. I asked one of the professors to serve as their advisor. This is one thing. But here is another instance that where I want to make sure we understand some of our students, they have big problems. I have worked closely with the Muslim Student Association, given that I share part of the culture with them. And I could feel the heat. I could feel what they say whenever they hear in the news, there is going to be ban from Muslim countries. Or whenever you hear an incident, a Muslim student at the UW Seattle campus, someone is throwing something in her face because the way she is dressed. Or meditation room at the campus of Bethel being vandalized. So this is where I said, no, I need to take an action. And the action is not by telling them, no, you're good, you're fine, you're nice, you're welcomed. The goal was, can I change their fear into productive power? Action items. One of them, let's meet together. So we discuss the issue. So it is not everyone on his own. Second step, let's meet with other student clubs so you feel from other people, not from me, that you are welcome. Step number 3, let's meet across different campuses connected to Bethel. Actually, this one is from, we don't have this field here on campus, but this is from the Bethel campus. Step number 4, if you want to feel that you are welcomed in the community, you need to give back to the community. 2 things that we did to the community with them. This is how, once you make them contribute back to the community, they feel valuable. One of them, let's go do the Lunch on Me program so we feed the needy. It's good effort. It's good effort. But again, we are not a charity organization. I want to make sure our contribution is at the intellectual level. I told them, I want you to pay back to the community by taking care of pre-college students. Through my work with non-profit organization where I focus on pre-college students, this is my area, I told them, I am going to bring you people who are high school that we want to recruit in the future. Many of them are refugees. Many of them are coming from the same background as you. They have the same fear. Could you please work together with them? Make sure you inspire them. Make sure that they are successful. And if you have fear, let's take all of them. Go to the law school at the UW Seattle. Ask all the questions that you have. So this was a cross-campus effort, and for sure I would not forget to say that they have been coming over here to campus. If you find a bunch of kids here making noise, I am the one to blame. And if you find someone jumping all the way up at the W, yes, I know it is bad, but those are our future people who are expected to be here sometime soon. Okay, so here the last dimension, which is how we provide support to students. I am going to mention kind of bigger bullets. I'll be more than happy to nail it down across the question, but this is the student who needs to be lifted up. We want to get student mental health, student physical health, the student why? Counseling. And this is kind of a big umbrella, but I want to make sure if you want to be successful, at least we figure out what are the directions we want to go through. Under this umbrella, lots of points. The other one, community and industry engagement. I remember when I was in the industry side, I asked the recruiter, organization which was of size 2,000 employees, how many employees we hired from the UWT? Response was 0. 0, why? Then we need to do analysis, why? Why we did not hire any one of them? I started to question. Replies came back to me, because we do not see those students. Yes, they take classes, but we never see them in conferences. They never participate in any project research. My duty at that time, because I was in between, this has to be changed. Let's make sure that our students get their hands dirty with projects from industry early on. They do research, they publish paper, they are visible, so they can get hired. I don't want to get the first connection between students and industry is whenever they are applying for their job. No. It has to start early on. Even whenever they are in their first few days, they want to get people from industry helping them decide which major to choose before we lose them. Student academic support, here it is kind of a bigger umbrella, how we can support students from the academic side. We have the TLC, for example, how we can help them in writing. There are lots of efforts that can go hand in hand to provide the academic support. Financial support. What is the nature of our students? Are those the students who are joining college to be the first one in their families to join students? Do we want to lose some of the talents because of some financial need? This has to be some discussion. All of them, those are bigger umbrellas. Under each one of them, lots of efforts. We can nail them down based on your questions, or I can keep telling you some of my stories, but I want to say, this is me, the baby, who is trying to help, and I will not be able to lift it by myself unless I have everyone over here working together as a team. The baby by himself cannot do it, but if he is able to align everyone to do the job, together we can make change. So, I don't know how much time, but I just want to show, I'm just taking one of them. I decided to choose, for example, community engagement to show, just as an example, there has been an effort I have been working for since 2014, where I'm trying to bring a bunch of industries to give projects to our students. It has been successful. I believe many of the students, either they got jobs before they graduate, or they got strong recommendation letters from those people, or at least it was a strong line in their resume. Concluding with a story where this is me and a couple of story, taking picture, taking the selfie at one of the conferences. This is kind of an example of where I'd love to repeat this model more and more. So those students, they were taking a course with me, but they were doing a project to help the government. More specifically, do you know people who come recently out of jail? Anyone has been out of jail recently who can give us the, so they track they track people using the ankle bracelet. And at real time, they want to keep tracking those people, do analysis of the behavior, predict, are those people ganging up again and they can do any problems? So it's kind of doing behavior analysis. So the problem is coming from the government. They use technology from Microsoft and another company called BI. So BI was doing the hardware, Microsoft the software, and UWT. So having a type of students during their classes, they are gluing academia, industry, and government. This is a big success, and we hope to get more of this success. Probably I got more than my 20 minutes, but here I am thanking you, and I am willing to take your questions. Thank you very much. No question? We can go home early? Yes, please.
Harvey Weinstein will be in that data set. I'm curious if Harvey Weinstein will be in that government data set now that he has the ankle bracelet and be part of the study.
Yeah, I can give you more information regarding Yes, please.
Yeah. What when we already have data, for instance, attendance, it's a problem.
That's correct.
So, since we already have data in some issues, so how can we use the data to make changes or to address the problem?
Yeah, so actually, I have been working with the data for some time. Even at some point in time, I was working with some of the sensitive data that it has some kind of, really some kind of customer data. There are two main problems with data. The first one is the availability of data. As you said, we may not have recorded attendance. The second one is the privacy of the data. Sometimes we have the data, but we are not allowed to share them. Those are the two main problems. The first one, in terms of collecting the data, it depends how much we want to be innovative in collecting the data. You may not be taking the attendance name by name, but you want to ask the instructor. This is one simple way. Just give me an idea how many attend across different weeks. And we want to focus, for example, if it is midterm, if it is final, if it is something like this. This is one way, is by human intervention giving the best guess if it is not recorded. Or, as I told you, if we are measuring students going to the UWI, they scan their badge when they enter. There are some techniques to be innovative, but I don't know how much it is going to conflict with privacy, especially for attendance. I know some places, what they do, they have some devices that do kind of the heat map. It can measure just by the heat, by the infrared, how people are on campus on a specific day. Do we know how many students show up late evening? How many of them are studying? We can get a rough idea. It depends how far we want to push technology. But even we have a lot of data that is available that we didn't make use of before we chase data that is not available. This is the one side of data availability. Privacy, it is a different issue. It has been, there are some kind of people who work in cybersecurity or whatever, they can tell. We can do what we call remove the PII, personally identifying information. I don't need your name, your email, your address to do analysis of enrollment. So we can strip this information out, then do the analysis. Or we can make sure that we do not include your information in the data set unless we have other people who share the information with you. So you are kind of diluted among K, and K is a tuning parameter. So no one can point to a specific person. You are kind of hidden among a bigger pool. Those are the techniques we do for lack of data or for data privacy. And again, before we reach to this level, I believe we still have a lot of the data analysis to be done on whatever we have in hand. Thank you.
You had box up on the slide when you were talking about the factors to consider in student success, financial, health, well-being, their grades. Can you talk about, from your perspective, what the campus needs most to concentrate on or has been lax in thinking or moving on regarding student success?
So actually, I've been doing great across many of those dimensions. The question is, how can we do better? One of the things that myself, I believe, where we are kind of lagging behind is whenever it comes to the physical health. Yes, we have the student why. And again, this is only an example, but I want to track how many events students are doing. I talk to students from student clubs, how many events they do, how much their events are funded. If they enjoy their life over here at the UWT, they are going to be attached, they are going to be less stressed, we are not going to be losing them. So one of the things where I would love to see more effort going on is in terms of the student mental, physical health, the activities that they are doing. It is an amazing way of retaining the student here in campus. I would guess, but again, this is based on no data, this is based on discussion with people, with the students. You can see the student that we are gonna lose is the student who gets less engaged in students' clubs, in activities. Students who have friends, who have life, who socialize, who go play basketball. Those are the ones who are most likely they're gonna be here for longer time. So this is for me, if I am to choose one. The second one, for sure, I love community and industry engagement. This is the home of students after we get them out from here. So I want to make sure that industry partners, they talk to students early on. I'm really amazed with what Brian is doing by bringing people after they graduate from the IT program. They come back, the students who graduated, they talk to the current student. This is amazing because those they can see, yes, we can be successful as those who graduated. They can network, they can find opportunity, they can do projects with them early on. They can get, it is very good. So again, industry, we have been doing some, but I believe we can still do more. Another point in terms of industry engagement is, can we really get some funded projects from industry? Getting funded project from industry, it means more funding for students, more position, more help on the financial side. And again, if you forget all those benefits, it is a strong line in your resume to say, and I did project for that specific company. My project was to help this specific company. It was a practical project. My project was not making a popcorn machine that no one is gonna use. Yeah. So again, student financial support, it is not by how much we're gonna open opportunity, and I would love to give them more financial support, but this is how we are gonna attract money from somewhere else. Did I answer the question?
Let me ask, you mentioned at the very beginning, your very first slide about telling them to study harder wasn't the right answer.
It is the right, no, it is, no,
And
I got your point.
And yet, it is very important that we are providing them with the quality academic experience. And I think one of the challenges of this position is that it is not you who is responsible for that, and yet you may be measuring, monitoring, and supporting these directors and faculty as they work on those things. And so, have you thought about ways that your expertise and your data science might be brought to bear on those questions of assuring that we're providing the academic quality experience and support that students need to achieve that academic success?
First of all, I fully agree that students, they need to study, they need to be challenged, they need to work hard, and this is something we need to let them know that this is what they need to do. We give the support, but the bottom line, we are not willing to graduate weak students. But our job is to make sure that we are hand-holding them to elevate their quality, and then eventually we graduate them. So they need to study a lot. What we can do is we can give the support. And what we can do, part of the thing that we can do is we can do some analysis of how the course has been taken, what are the grades, why a student with a specific advisor and specific. We are looking for weird patterns. Why this advisor or this instructor is doing better job. So we want to correlate the instructor, the time of or the quarter, the course. We want to get the grades. We want to get the student evaluations. We want to get all of them and figure out maybe there are some instructors who are talented to teach a specific course, but not other. So why don't we get this instructor to be the leader for this course, share the experience with other instructors so we can make sure that the students are getting the best teaching experience across all of those courses. And me, I am good in teaching course A, you are teaching in course B, how we can share the experience. This is what we can do as part of our analysis. We can talk to students, also listening to students. And I was thinking we need to spend a lot of time listening to people before we make any decisions. So listen, then we can help. But by the end of the day, if we give them the support over here, after a few years, they're going to be in the wilderness. And I mean by the wilderness, they're going to be an industry on their own. We are not going to be there. So we want to make sure that they can stand on their feet on their own. So it is not, yeah, I'm teaching a course. Yeah, some student come, I have hardship, I have this, I have this, I have that. I am willing to help you to the best of my ability. But before you pass this course, I want to make sure that you have really passed the course. You are qualified in this area. So again, I could have given this presentation in a minute and say, let them study hard, then we could go home early. I wish you raised this question early on, Jill. You kept them longer over here. Yeah, Ali, you had a question?
I did. I guess it's kind of a follow-up to Jill's question because from what I understand, this position you're going to be required to sort of work across the curriculum. And I really like the metaphor of the one body. And it's clear based on your experience and your presentation that you know, either the legs or the shoulders are very strong. I'm kind of curious to hear you talk about experiences or maybe strategies for sort of working across the body in this position.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So again, probably I gave an example, maybe it was kind of a faraway example when I said I want to look to the library data and figure out students in this major interested in that major and making sure we are bringing the directors together or offer some kind combined. But again, this is kind of doing more data analysis. But if we bring those even in a room and we keep discussion and we talk to industry, we can figure out a lot to do. I have been talking to Ali over here. I was telling him, you are doing GIS, I'm doing GIS. But your students are great in using GIS to solve the problems of the community. My students are trained not to use GIS tools to solve these problems. My students, they are building those tools under the cover. And I know in the market for this specific case, we have big problem in the market. Either we have people who are geographers who took computer science 101, or we have computer science folks who took geography 101. But in the market, we don't have people who are balanced. So whether we talk to people in industry and we ask them what you really need in terms of, again, this is offering degree, but you can keep going at smaller level. How can we teach courses? How we can ask students from one place to come to this place? Even easier and easier if we have one place where we can get interdisciplinary research. Now it's very hard to find, sure you can find, but it is hard to find one research in databases only. No, it is a mix across different fields. This is something where we can show, okay, because we are kind of more interdisciplinary, we can add value. Probably touching across how we can do collaboration across different units.
the students and the anklet project,
Yes.
whether or not that involved any faculty from criminal justice, or it just seems like an opportunity for.
For this one specifically, I want to say it was just me from the UW and the students, and we have people from industry and government. Again, that one was a little bit back, but for sure, I would love, this is just as an example, as a follow-up, we can do this. Why not? That will be even amazing. And everyone is going to take the research, stretch it in a different direction. So the pie is going to get bigger. So I hope. Yes. Whichever you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate what you said, and I apologize I'm late coming into this, but the position is for student success, right? So it's very important. I want to see, I think all of us want to see all of our students successful, to retain them, to graduate them, and so on. I had the privilege of talking with some students, and like you said, you may think, some of them may be not qualified, or they need to be studying this and that, but from some of their point of view, they are fully qualified. So how do we deal with that? And also, more specifically, even in your program, there are students that I chatted with, they are very frustrated. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of students that they felt that we had excellent teachers, and very good, this is the place they belong. However, there are also enough students who felt that there are more than one, for sure, yeah, bad teachers. They cite really examples, and they are not fair to them, and they don't respect diversity, and so on and so forth. And these are real students who told me this. That's one thing. How do we deal with it? Secondly, students also said that they need to graduate with VLPA, right? And recently, language is an issue that because we have to, because of maybe enrollment or other thing, we have to cut some language courses. Or maybe we'll put it back because more than 1,300 of them signed a petition. But how do you graduate them? They don't have language, enough courses here, for example. So these are the real students who I have interacted with. They told me some of this. How do we deal with them?
Thank you very much. Very, very good questions. So the first question is regarding the students, and just to repeat the question is kind of the students, they feel you're not good instructors, you have good curriculum or whatever, but some of them, they feel, no, the instructor is not good, the curriculum is bad, the grading was not fair. And for sure, this is a key point in the success of a student. Going back to my analogy when I said Sethu, to be a good runner, he had to spend some time swimming. I want to use the same analogy to make sure that the students are successful. We want to make sure that the instructors, our faculty, are successful. So part of the job is how to make sure that our instructors are successful, how we train them, how to make sure that they get the training on how to be fair while grading. If they take points out of students, these points, why these points are taken needs to be well communicated to the students. If we believe that there is one person who is is doing better job in doing a course, he can lead the teaching of this course. So I would assume, yes, part of this role, I would fully agree that we are not going to be able to achieve student success unless we have faculty success. Whether it is kind of under the umbrella of this role, it is going to be collaboration between whoever needs to collaborate to make sure that we are giving the student the best experience. But, or let me give an example. Sometimes I need to make this decision. I have a course and I need someone to teach. This is grad level course. I think I want to bring one industry professional who has been working on this field for years, and I know he has the most recent technology, best knowledge. He is going to do amazing job, but he may not be well trained on how to deal with the students and grade. Can we pair him with a mentor to make sure that things do not get wrong? For sure, this is one thing that we need to handle. The other thing regarding, yes, sometimes we lack courses or we lack people who are offering the courses. And if we ask, let's hire more people, let's hire more courses, we're going to get courses under-enrolled. So it is going to be an optimization problem. We need to do the best we can do. Doing analysis, where do we invest? This is how many courses we can offer. What are the minimal subset of courses that we can offer to maximize the revenue on our investment? It's kind of an optimization problem. Some analysis has to happen. Then we decide, our students, they have major problem in their language. We need to offer more of the writing courses or whatever. I do not have an answer from the top of my head. It is going to take a long time sitting in front of the data, doing the analysis, doing the optimization till we say, this is what we can do given the resources. Yeah. And we can work the problem together. Thank you very much.
And I was going to ask for your thoughts on general education. And I know you've talked a lot about the majors and especially the technology majors. What do technology students and all students need in terms of just general knowledge, in your view? And is our current general education program, does it need work? In what way? And how would that look?
Excellent question. So actually, there are a few pieces to answer this question. The first piece is actually back to Patrick, because he was the one who initiated a thread between him and me when we said, can we do a computer literacy series across the UWT where we teach everyone across the campus the basic knowledge regarding cybersecurity, big data, data science, cloud computing. So this is kind of general education. It is open for everyone, but it is extremely valuable. I think that it is kind of a main ingredient for someone in the job market to know what those terminologies are. So this is one thing. We have done one. We started the planning in the winter. We started offering it in the spring. Hopefully next year we have plans to offer it from the beginning of the year till the end. This is one way. Another kind of different answer to this question, certificates. I have been talking, if you see the slides where I showed lots of, and yes, this slide. I talked to many of them. We started to offer certificates that we did not say, okay, I'm gonna offer tomorrow this certificate. I was not walking in the street and decided I'm gonna offer a data science certificate. No, it came from industry. Those are the technologies that we need in people we are looking for to hire. So as part of the general education, as kind of supplementary material, let's do certificates in whatever needs to be taken for the job market. So we have focused curriculums, but we have general education. What comes to my mind is either kind of seminars open to the public, just people, they come for the sake of knowledge, they don't take anything back home, or they have certificates where they can go prove. We have attended, we have done homeworks, we have done projects, we are certified. Those are lightweight certificates, maybe 1 quarter long, but they are certified in one topic. This is what comes to mind. Thank you.
Could you follow up on that a little bit? Are you seeing that industry across the board is curious or asking for certificates? And are you speaking specifically of technology, or would there be value in a 3-course series certificate in diversity? Or where is that coming from?
There you go. Yeah, so actually I have seen in industry they're asking for certificates all the time, because we graduate a student, yes, they have their bachelor degrees, but now they are looking for a specific, from my own personal experience, I would say that they want to get people who more focused on, for example, GIS systems. They are focused in data science. They are focused on big data, on cybersecurity. In each one of those, I believe some specific companies, they are shooting for a specialization. There are many in terms of technology outside. Yes, I would believe there is going to be value. How much? I want to be frank, it needs to go. Those are the people that I talk to them personally. I need to, because that was kind of the scope of my commitment. But we need to talk to other people, given the bigger umbrella of the UWT, to decide, do we need more certificates? Where are the certificates? I would even believe that certificates are gonna span across different departments over here. Like, for example, someone will take GIS in urban study, then GIS at the institute, then he may take something somewhere else. So we are gonna make sure that those certificates, they are kind of giving all the ingredients regarding from where the course is coming from. Thank you.
I have another question. So the UW, UW Seattle has sort of established that the students have to take Natural World, VLPA, a bunch of these different courses. Do you envision sort of changing or tweaking them in a way to make them include a technological literacy component? So say you're doing an art class for the VLPA requirement for general education, and then, so I'm kind of struggling to see how that requirement that we have to do for the students in terms of that sort of general education might be enriched by your expertise.
I hope. Yeah, I fully agree that whatever they have done in Seattle, it's a good step. Should we kind of how we adapt the model? I believe there is room for adapting the model, doing some changes here and there. For sure, before we do this, we want to make sure that we do a little bit. Again, it's going to take some time doing the analysis. Before we do the tweak, it has to be kind of listening beforehand. What people at the market they are looking for. And we want to also see there is another, so they have developed something. We want to look to whatever they have developed from two sides. The nature of students we have over here, because probably we have a different nature set of students. So we want to make sure that we add the material to fit in the needs of our own student. We are kind of urban serving campus or whatever. We want to look at the type of students we get, and we want to make sure it gets massaged in this direction. From the other side, we have lots of places, community, organization, industries in the neighborhood. We want to listen to them to make sure what we are doing is going to be feeding our students by the end of the day over there. So this is a great direction. It can be changed. It can be kind of adapted a little bit. And I'm definitely would love to see how this may happen. Let's make it happen.
If anyone has a pressing question, you can put it forth or forever hold your peace. And it looks like we are done. First, let's all thank Mohamed Ali.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone. The best.